Welcome, one and all, to the Professional Homegirl Podcast. Before we begin today's episode, we want to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and guests and are intended for educational and entertaining purposes. In this safe space, no question is off limits because you never know how someone's storyline can be your lifeline. The Professional Homegirl Podcast is here to celebrate the diverse voices, stories, and experiences of women of color, providing a platform for authentic and empowering conversations. There will be some 𝐾𝐿, some tears, but most importantly, a reminder that tough times don't last, but professional homegirls do. Enjoy the show.
Hey, professional homegirls. It's your girl, 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞 here, and we are throwing it back to a PhD Rewind episode that is hands down in my top 5, y'all. And listen, that says a lot because we are approaching 300 episodes, and I recorded this back in 2019. So listen, when I tell y'all are about to be cracking up because my guest is shits and giggles. My guest gets real about her experiences in the porn industry as a BBW porn star. She opens up about the challenges, the stereotypes, and the behind-the-scenes realities of being a plus-size performer. We dive into body confidence, representation, and what it takes to succeed in the industry that often has narrow beauty standards. This episode is raw, and it is definitely one of those ones. So get ready, because I'm a BBW porn star starts now. How did you get your start in porn?
Well, to begin, my aunt told me I do everything, so why not try to get in a magazine? But
what do you mean by everything?
Like, I do photo shoots, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, I'm not ashamed. I'm not if I'm going to I do photo shoots. I had a stripper come to my city, and it was quite a few of them. And I met him. We talked for a while. He told me about 𝐾𝐿 and everything else. So I was like, I wasn't really ready I didn't know much about how you do 𝐾𝐿 or anything like that at the time. So then he said, well, why don't we do a photo shoot? So I did the photo shoot. He gave me the photos back. It took like 2 weeks or something. I had forgot all about the photos. I was like, okay, he just took the photos and doing whatever he wanted to do with them. You know what I mean? So finally, I guess because he was in college also, but he was a male stripper. And we did the photo shoot. I also, in the process of waiting for him to give me the photos back, I had began a relationship with one of my children's football coaches. And he started talking to me about the 𝐾𝐿 thing. And
wait, what is 𝐾𝐿? What is that?
It's like 𝐾𝐿, you talk to fans, people, they like MyFreeCam, StreamMates, it's different ones. It's thousands upon thousands of 𝐾𝐿 sites. So there's things like cam models. That's what it's called, being a cam model. And there are male and female cam models. You know what I'm saying? It's not just for women. Some sites only cater to women, but then you have a lot that, cater to both. And, so, you can do it alone or with someone else, but they have to be a member, a member of the site, someone who's working for the site. Like, they have to have their W-2s and, like, you pay taxes on all of this. Nothing. Yeah. Everything we pay taxes on, so. But anyways, she, the football coach, he was the assistant, let me get it straight, assistant football coach of my daughter, because my daughter was the first female football player, as far as being here in my city. So, and she was, for the kids leagues and stuff. So, me and him talked, and he was talking to me about, all of it and everything also. But like I said, the stripper had a little more deep detail. He knew more about it, I guess, because he had been involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, the football coach started trying to take pictures of me also. He took a couple, but his photography wasn't on point. Now, I like
he wasn't hitting them angles.
Nah, he definitely wasn't. Then he called himself doing some little photos of me giving him head. I actually seen those photos and they are horrendous.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? They're horrendous. I actually have them on my laptop. And I never showed them to nobody because they're gross. They just don't look right. I didn't look right. My appearance wasn't right. And it was in between the me testing the waters on the type of hairstyles and what was attractive to the audience. You know, and when I compared it, like it's times where I've put on a black wig and people were like,
So you was doing research pretty much.
Yeah, I was doing all of that. So with me doing all of that and my aunt saying, well, you're doing all this, you might as well try to get into a magazine. Well, she never thought I'd take it as far as I have. You know what I'm saying? Because I did try to get in the magazine, but I'm not about to go out here buying magazines. You know what I'm saying? So I have an uncle who lives across the street from me, and I know he's some type of a freak. You know, I see all the different type of women he be taking in and out the house and stuff, you know? So I know one day he had particularly asked me, did I have any magazines over here? I got no goddamn pornographic magazines. You know, at the time that he was asking me, I had another job. Like I said, my daughter was doing the football, you know what I'm saying? I'm a mother. So, you know what I mean? I was wrapped up in so many other things, but I also had another job where I was self-employed, you know what I'm saying? And I was a child care provider at the time. So what the hell would I be doing with sex magazines?
Right.
Laying around my house, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm gonna be doing with them anyway. You know, in my mind, like I never been one to watch porn or look at magazines. I've been in adult toy stores and all of that, but not to I'll bring toys home, you know.
So you never thought that you would be doing what you're doing?
No, not in no way, shape, or form. But when he asked me, it dawned, you know, I had remembered that in the back of my head. So when I was saying, get into, you know, you need to try to get into a magazine. Well, of course, I went over and knocked on his door and asked him, did he have him? After he asked me, now remind you, I'm asking him, well, let me see what you got. He was like, well, I done used all mine. Me not thinking, you know, what could be all over the magazines. You know?
Ooh, child.
So he was like, well, let me dig some out and I'll bring them across the street. So he brought the magazines to me. When I tell you these magazines was ancient, it was the black and white ones, like literally the pages was like warped. And who knows why they so warped. It could be warped because of age or because of something else was on it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still looking. And as you know, you go back to your childhood, table of contents. So I looking at the magazines like these is fat white women, you know what I'm saying? And it's just really some of the pages stuck together, but I'm still trying to figure out there has to be a phone number or an email. The magazine is like before I was born, probably, you know what I'm saying? So remind you, this is my step uncle. He's much older than me, you know what I mean? So I'm still not thinking. All I'm thinking is table of contents. So I'm looking. It's emails, but you know, like I said, the magazines was old. I did try the emails. I did try the phone numbers. From that point on, I finally received those photos from the stripper. He pulled up. I was outside with all the kids. You know what I'm saying? He handed me a DVD. And I came in the house and, you know, after the kids left and everything, you know, like I said, I was doing daycare. And once I got my kids, you know, wind down and everything, I came in and I looked at the DVD and I was blown away by the photos. The bad part with the photos is I was tipsy as hell. So some of them you could tell I was tipsy, but my makeup was still on point and I wear all emotions on my face. So my emotion was I was hot as hell because I was not tipsy, but drunk, fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And but I was still impressed by the photos compared to the other ones that the assistant football coach took. Right. So I was really excited about it. So I showed them to my aunt and I showed the regular pictures, not nothing sexual, because there really wasn't any visual where you could see like open body parts. You know what I'm saying? Not busting open or nothing. It was erotic. You know what I mean? It was more erotic photos. You know what I'm saying? I was still fully clothed. You know what I mean? The most that came out was my breast. You know what I mean? There wasn't any like butt naked. You could see my butt, you know, but that's it. Nothing where, you know, too bad. Nothing busting, you know, the clit out or nothing like that. So, my aunt seen him and she liked him or whatever. I showed him to a couple other people. And then I went on, I can't even remember the BBW search something. It was a website. So I put a couple photos up there. I was contacted by a Black producer out of North Carolina. When he contacted me, we spoke back and forth. Now, at this time, I was on social services by this time, because it wasn't that many kids in daycare. So I had no choice but to go and apply because I'm still a mother. I still got to take care of my kids one way or the other. And I have a big ass house and not trying to lose my house. You know what I'm saying? So I had like 2 kids in daycare who parents weren't really paying, but I didn't want to let the kids go. You get attached to people, kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it was like, if I didn't keep them, who would, still struggling, but I still apply for social services. So, I'm on a budget. I'm barely making it. So so what I was saying, I went on ahead and, like I said, put those pictures on the site. The Black producer contacted me. When he contacted me, we talked for a long time. All still talking to him, he's just one person that actually gave me the time of day. But, you can't believe everything that glitter ain't gold. And just because I see he got all these little DVDs and this, that, and the other, he's still saying he wants to shoot me, but he has, this girl and that girl he's working. There's always some type of fucking excuse. You know what I'm saying? So I started Googling things. And this is something that I had to educate myself on. And when I tell you day after day, night after night, day after day, like it was to me like a job. And remind you, I didn't have that many kids in daycare. So any spare time that I had, this is what I did.
It seems like you was like very like once
I was persistent.
Yeah, like once a thought got in your head, you ran with it.
Yeah, I couldn't stop. You know what I'm saying? It was just like it wouldn't leave my mind. I got so many compliments in it on that site. And I'll remind you, at this time, I didn't have Facebook. I still had that MySpace shit, and I was bored with that. And my kids used to have Facebook, and I used to get on them because I used to be mad. I'm like, these old ass men. So I made my kids shut their Facebooks down because it looked like older men were. Why you got all these old men on your Facebook? You know what I'm saying? So at this point, I gotta, after making them shut their Facebook down, I have to go back to them to ask them to teach me about Facebook. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I put some of those basic photos up or whatever, not a whole lot, just a few. And eventually I got contacted by another guy who is actually the owner of was the owner of a club in the DC area. Now, remind you, I'm still talking to the guy from North Carolina. And the one from the club, he told me that he does photos and he owned the club and this, that, and the other, never telling me he had a wife. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, me and him talked for quite some time. He ended up coming to my city, coming to Buffalo. He ended up coming here. When he came here, he came with a woman and another guy. Now, I didn't have no idea that the other guy actually lived in my city. I never knew him, never seen him. I wasn't the type of person like hanging in the streets or whatever. So they picked me up, came to my home, picked me up, took me to a hotel, did a photo shoot. We did a really nice photo shoot. Me being the type of person I am, like I thought he was fine as hell. I'm flirting with him. I don't know this is his wife, and she never let on that it's his wife. She never said nothing. And then eventually the other guy that was with them, he ended up making a comment. Then I put 2 and 2 together. You know what I'm saying? So we did finish the photo shoot out. The pictures were lovely. There's some of the pictures that people see online now. They're still up, So, remind you, I'm still talking to the guy from North Carolina. Now, the one that I did that came here and I did the photo shoot with, they gave me a paper to sign. I ain't know nothing about a contract or anything. You know what I'm saying? It was 1 page, but it was pretty basic. And It was more like what I learned was content exchange. They could use the photos what they wanted to use it for, and I could use it. Nobody received any money for it, either way. But then after I signed it, I go in the bathroom, change my clothes, put my, my regular clothes back on. And they tell me that they've been doing photo shoots of girls from DC all the way to Buffalo, and nobody does the camera justice. None of the big girls they've been taking photos of did the camera justice at the time. And I was like, wow. I said, well, me thinking, well, you must be looking for bum bitches or something, bitches that ain't trying to put it themselves together or whatever.
Right.
So he was like, well, they just haven't been working out. So they told me that since they have my photos, they're going to make me the face of their club. And I was like, are you kidding? Now, at this point, I'm like, that's fucked up. Had they told me that before that, I'd have been on some other type of shit.
Right.
Anything, you know what I'm saying? But again, me not knowing and no one ever teaching me anything, what else, what was I supposed to do? So at that point, again, I'm still talking to the North Carolina man. I'm trying to get into porn at this point. Fuck them pictures. They were gorgeous pictures and all that, but I didn't know no better. They got over on me. I thought at the time, now to this day, I only been in that club one time. You know what I'm saying? One time ever, but I was the face of their, that's kind of fucked up, but I was the face of their club. Photos of me all over the club.
And what kind of club was it?
It was a bar. A bar club. You know what I'm saying? So
who was it that introduced you into porn then? As far as like you
ready to go to. I ended up finally being contacted by, like I said, I had my photos on that one site. And I was still talking to that North Carolina man with all the promises. We're gonna shoot me, he gonna send for me, this, that, listen, when I tell you this went on about 10 months. And I just started getting like, fuck it, but still Googling stuff. Cause I'm like, it's gotta be another way around, So I ended up contacting Evasive Angels. And the man who owned that name was TT Boy. I had seen little stuff online about him, you know what I'm saying, when I could, because, I always had kids around. So when I could, I had seen, little stuff. So I seen it. I knew he had a raspy voice, like it sounded like it was ashy, like. So after calling his phone, leaving messages with the secretary, emailing him, sending him hella pictures. Mind you, I got 2 sets of pictures now. Like I got like over 600 pictures, you know what I'm saying, between 2 different people. So I'm like, okay, fine, ain't nothing gonna happen. It was the beginning of the month. I had paid all my bills. I getting ready to go to the grocery store. I'm in a taxi. I'm getting ready to get in a taxi. Before I get a taxi, my phone rings. It's a man talking about, hi, this TT Boy. I said, who? I said, listen, excuse my language, but listen, motherfuckers, I cuss like a seller, okay?
Oh, no, we curse over here, baby.
Yeah, listen, motherfucker, stop playing on my goddamn phone. This TT Boy. I'm like, who? And I'm not thinking, because remind you, I just sent the man a message. I didn't how was I supposed to remember his name was even TT Boy? You know what I'm saying? So I kept hanging up on him, and he kept calling. So once I get in the cab and I'm right at the door of the grocery store, he calls back. Now I'm fucking livid because I see the number. Now I'm starting to remember the number. Like, this motherfucker don't stop playing on my goddamn phone. Now, only money I have is the money, like my food stamps at the time and the money to get, household things. Me and my 2 youngest are in the cab. We getting out. I'm trying to pay the cab driver. This motherfucker won't stop calling me. So eventually, I let him go ahead and talk. And he started telling me he wanted me in Miami on a certain day. He gave me the date. He was like, you pay for your travel. And again, I didn't know nothing about nothing. You want me to pay for my motherfucking travel and my hotel, but he's telling me he's going to give me half on the hotel when I get there and half on the travel and pay me to shoot. I'm thinking to myself, this don't make no kind of goddamn sense.
Right. Because why you just can't pay for it all?
You know what? I found out by the time I came into the business, all those type of things changed. Because especially for the big girls, the big, the black BBWs in this, me being a BBW, porn star, they've made it so hard for us. You know, the girls before me, a lot of them before me, not all, but a lot. But anyway, so once I go grocery shopping, now I'm at the grocery store and I'm stressed the fuck out because I don't know who this is. So I get back home, I contact the man from North Carolina. Little do I know, he had been shooting girls in North Carolina and selling the content to TT Boy. So he was familiar with him. So after I told him who he was, and he kept asking me what the number was, you know, and I'm like, shit, you could be telling me any old motherfucking thing. It seemed like everybody giving me the runaround.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I ended up, he asked me what's the phone number. I didn't want to give him the whole number because if it was him, you know what I'm saying, that ain't right of me to do nothing like that. So I gave him the last couple digits. And he was like, that is TT Boy. And I'm like, the fuck, are you kidding me? But I'm still scared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I call him back after I go online now. At this point, now that I know it's really him, I'm like, okay, this is my chance to get in. But I really don't have no money because I done paid all my bills. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a limited income.
Right.
So I paid all my bills. I did all of that. I went grocery shopping. I look up flights from him telling me where he needed me to be at and this, that, and the other. I looked up flights. I looked up hotels. That shit, the flight alone was $800.
Mm.
And I got to pay it up front and you going to give me half of it back. You know what I'm saying? I know you say you're real and he's saying that it's really you, but I don't know. They could be on some kidnap a bitch shit, him too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm stressed out. Like, I'm
Right.
here. Remind you, it is 6:00 in the evening. He told me he needed an answer from me by midnight.
Yeah, you don't know what you walking through.
That's what I'm saying. I'm by myself. I don't know nobody. Yeah, granted, my aunt telling me, go do this, go do that, go get in a magazine, but I'm trying to take it a step further. You know what I'm saying? Because it really wasn't too much to you. It was too hard to figure out the magazine situation. It seemed to be I got more information about movies, but couldn't get to the right people.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
how did you get out there?
I didn't go.
Oh.
I called him. And I told him, like, this is my situation. Like, I didn't have any money to be paying up front or anything like that. I really didn't. I just paid my bills. And I had, went to the store. I got to buy tissue. And, you got to budget your shit out.
Right.
I'm a mother before I'm anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my kids come first, always.
As they should.
Yeah, so my home and my kids. Without either one of these, I'm going to be fucked up. So, I ended up not going. I ended up passing it on. And he told me then, well, then maybe next time we can do some business. I'm going to keep your information and, we could do something again or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So after that, a few days later, I ended up talking to the North Carolina guy. And he was like, why didn't you go? That was the best opportunity. And I'm telling him, I don't know if any of you motherfuckers is really real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't sent for me yet. So finally, the North Carolina guy ended up sending for me. It was during some type of rainstorm or something they had going on in North Carolina. So I was still shook because now I'm still going off with a motherfucker I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He ended up paying for my travel, paid for the room, little clothes and playroom or whatever. The male talent didn't show up the first day. So he ended up keeping me another day. Now, remind you, this was all on the contingencies of what they call the content exchange. After he explained everything to me, I started learning more. And by the time he had sent for me, had started having conversations with other producers, and they were all saying the same thing. At that time, BBWs weren't making a lot.
Why do you think they was making a lot of money?
Because the BBWs beforehand fucked the game up. They would get the money in advance, run off. Don't show up. They'll get the money. The producers or the companies would send them the money to book the ticket. They wouldn't show up.
Mm.
It was just before I came into the business. Like, I just came in, everything was fucked up by the time I got involved.
How long you been in the industry?
I've been in 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I would say 8-9 years ago was when 8.5 years ago is when I guess when things started going bad. You know what I mean? And there was like Blacktail magazine and like the main people who actually went out the way and who promoted and hired the black big girls. They like, internet came. You had the man from Blacktail magazine. He died, from what I understand. I never got a chance to meet him, the original Blacktail magazine. He died just before I came in the building. He hired all the new girls, made sure they stayed paid, made sure they had good gigs. Like I said, TT Boy, he was the only one. Him and there was another one. I can't even think of his name right now. But there was another another company that was shooting the big girls too, but then they all started coming down because of internet on the prices. Like when I tell you offering 500, shit like that. So my best deal at that time was what Evasive Angels was trying to give me, and I was scared to go. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I shot with the company from North Carolina. Everything was fine. The second day the male talent came, I did the scene. I had a few little issues. I did the scene totally sober. That was one issue because my nerves was a wreck. To be honest.
This was the first time that you had sex with the male talent.
Mm-hmm.
And you did it sober?
Yep.
But you wanted to see how it was going to be, though.
I didn't. First of all, the man, like, he paid for the room. I went down there still on very little money, just a little money, just for emergencies.
Right.
So, if anything happened, like I said, the company, the man, the producer, he paid for my travel, Megabus.
Mm-hmm.
That long ass ride. He paid for all of that. You know what I'm saying? He paid for the hotel. He paid for my food and stuff. But he doesn't drink or smoke or, I don't smoke nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he don't drink or whatever. He don't do nothing. So, he wasn't buying no damn liquor. You know what I mean? He made that real clear. But then as nervous as I was, I shouldn't have had no damn liquor. You know what I mean? I ended up going to the store and I did buy a beer. But by the time the male talent got off of his regular job, because most people have a regular job in this industry, by the time he got off his regular job and got there, and they came like in the last minute, they called me, the producer called and was like, okay, we're on our way. I had to rush, get dressed. I come out the bathroom, like they got the keys to get in the room. Remind you, it's in their name. So when I come out the bathroom, they're there. You know what I'm saying? The male talent comes in. He uses the bathroom. We start shooting.
How was that experience?
It was okay. I felt like I still have a relationship with the male talent. You know what I'm saying? He comes to my city because he drives truck or whatever too. So when he comes up here, I go see him and, we talk and, to spend time talking and stuff or whatever. It felt strange. And don't get it twisted. I've slept with motherfuckers I ain't know before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was different for the camera and everything.
The fact that you actually have an audience.
Yeah, I know how to be seductive. You know what I mean? I know that I have the eyes, when I'm looking, I know, it's just, you just can't stare into the camera. You know what I mean? You got to act like you don't know what's going on. But then there was little incidents where the male talent, but he had like bleeding.
Breathing?
Like it was little shit that I was like, okay, this is something wrong.
Why was he bleeding?
He had shaved and cut like on his butt. So there was like a little bit of drop of like, not drop, a little like a little line of blood or whatever on his
that would have freaked me the fuck out.
It did because automatically I'm like, okay, is this motherfucker gay? Which, don't get it fucked up. There's, I have a lot of gay friends. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's not the situation. The situation is you're fucking me.
Right. And you're bleeding.
Yeah, and you bleeding. Like, you bleeding from your asshole? What's going on? You know what I mean? So I'm paranoid like a motherfucker. But he was really cute. He was really nice. He was, you know what I'm saying? He was all right. He was all right. You know what I mean? Dick big as hell. You know what I mean? But I mean, it ain't even about the dick being real big. It's how you use it. I did run into some issues with my leg. Like I that's what I just went through now. But I just ran into some issues with one of my legs where I realized like I have a problem like with a nerve. So a certain way that he would hit me, you know what I'm saying, when he's fucking me, that my leg felt like it was giving out. It was like an aching but it
Oh,
felt like
wow.
it was like every time he pumped, he hit a nerve from the back. It hurt
Damn.
so bad. You know what I'm saying? It hurted so fucking bad. Then when we did it, you know what I'm saying, just regular missionary style, I had to kick him off of me because he was hurting me. You know what I mean? But I can't let the camera know. I just literally you threw my legs back, pushed him off of him. I mean, off of me, pushed him off of me. So, from that point on, after doing that scene, before I even left there, I had been speaking to a tranny here in my city that was friends with my sister, went to school with my little sister. And he had a website, or she, however, I don't want to do the pronouns wrong, to say she had a website, so I ended up asking her, even before I left my city, I asked her, could you contact your website people and ask them if they could, give me a call or whatever. So they never called me on my way down there. Now, all I was going to be able to put on it at that time, remind you, before going to North Carolina, was some pictures. I have no idea. I'm still trying to do things on my own. I'm knowing I need to have somewhere to just put everything at, because I know I can't put all of this on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I need to have motherfuckers keep asking me for more and more pictures. I don't want to be sending motherfuckers pictures in their inbox. I know that you're supposed to get paid for it.
Well, yeah, I'm about to ask you, were you getting paid to send these pictures?
No, that's why I wasn't sending them. That's why I wanted a website. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted a website, so that you have to pay like any other website. You got to pay to join. You know what I mean? You got to pay to see. So, he ended, like I said, I didn't get no call from the webmaster on the way there. I got the call just before I started shooting, while everyone was in the room. And it's, remind you, this is a hotel room. We're all in the room. And I told the man I'll call him back. I'm doing my first scene. So I ended up calling him back. We talked. He told me once I get everything, he, send him 150. And, he said he'll start the splash page right now. Just send him a couple pictures. So after the scene was over, I sent him a couple pictures so he could do the splash page, that very first page. And he sent me 3 different ones. I picked, and I ended up sending him all the photos. He put all the photos on. So I got a website. But I don't got I done finished the scene. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know motherfuckers. I don't know the game. Here I go again. So now I come all the way. I stay in North Carolina for like 5 days. Remind you, I finished the scene on the 2nd day. So I ended up staying there a couple days more. I end up coming home.
Wait, did you get paid for that scene?
No, it was content exchange.
Wow.
It was a content exchange where he could put it on his stuff and I could use it. Remind you, I need the scene. I got a site. You know what I mean? I went down there knowing I need something to prove that I can do porn. See, if everyone could do it, everyone would be a real porn star and not in your bedroom with the camera with you and your man, with your cell phone. You know what I'm saying? If everyone could do it, everyone would be nominees, award winners, would attend these shows, would be invited to do things, would be on some of the products and some of the things, you know what I'm saying? Would get endorsements if everyone could do it. There's a big difference from doing in your bedroom by yourself and who gives a fuck. Whoever. I know they have all the free sites where people are putting all those up, and I'm not taking nothing from Pornhub or anything else, because hell, I got some half a minute shit up on Pornhub too. You know what I'm saying? But I don't indulge in constantly putting stuff up there, because I want to be paid correctly, not a half a penny or a penny for a movie.
Do you get paid more for certain scenes?
You get paid more for DP, which I don't do double penetration. I don't feel like my shit is big enough for all that. I feel like it's going to bust through. You cannot put a dick in my ass and in my coochie at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Too much. I'm not real big there, so I just feel like it's going to bust open.
Girl, me too.
Those and anal are the biggest for, female. Anal and double penetration. So I guess I ain't gonna never get no double penetration money, because I'm just not doing it.
How much do they get paid for double penetration?
I don't know, but I know it's the largest amount. I don't need to know because I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm not doing it. It's not for me. Anal is hard enough. You know what I'm saying? So that's not gonna get it for me.
Yeah, when I was watching the documentary and how like they try to stay away from anal, like they wait until they got a couple of years
Yeah.
in. And when they do it, it's like the ass be out. Literally.
Yeah, you're not going to, and by the time you do it, that's why I don't do it. Girls that do it and they have their sites and stuff like that, I just choose not to do it. I've done anal, you know, I mean, I've done anal in my private life, of course.
Right.
But that's been like with my baby daddies or something like that. But as far as in the industry, I've only done 2 anal scenes.
Is there anything you wouldn't do besides those two?
I don't
do
do cream pie. I don't do DPs. I don't do cream pies, which is
what's cream pies?
Girl, that's the slang for the Caucasian people. Cream pies. Girl, that's come in you. I don't do that. First of all, I have an issue with anything dripping out of me like that for 70. You know what I'm saying? Only thing should come out of a woman is her own body. I feel that's just how I feel.
Right.
Her own, you know, your own juices and your period.
Right.
I just don't like all the drainage. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because I'm single now. I don't like the smell afterwards. I mean, each his own, but I feel like come make your pussy stink.
Yeah. But I did, when I was doing my research, I noticed that a lot of, I guess in the industry, they don't condone condoms.
They don't condone them? No, because we're tested. Like, depending on who you're working with, me, myself, I use talent testing services, and I won't work with you. I saw that. I won't work with you if you don't use talent testing services, and I won't work with you if your test is 2 weeks and all that. Oh, I mean, each his own. You know, I mean, when you go through talent testing services, they have it set up where 2 weeks, it lets you know when your 2-week mark comes, your 3-week mark comes, your 4-week mark, and then they say you need to be tested again.
Because I think you have that on your site.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I broadcast mine.
Mm-hmm.
I put it out there, and it's not even just for me to put it out there, because the world will know if you went to these sites and, you know what I'm saying, and you typed in my name and, you know, my information or whatever. I broadcast my stuff right there. I'm not ashamed. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I raised my kids and never was a secret from my family. You know what I'm saying? I got like 1 or 2 people in my family who'd be telling me, oh, you don't got to do this and you don't got to do that. Ain't nobody making me do it. You know, I do it because I want to do it. And I do it because I'm good at it. And I do it because I've built this brand. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an everlasting thing that I'm going to do till I die. No, but I started it. I feel like I conquered it. I came in and I blew through it. I got some of those paid scenes when nobody else was getting them at a certain point. I own my own. I own a lot of my rights too. You know what I'm saying? I shot with some people that a lot of people that when BBW said they were never, when they said that they weren't male talent. Okay, for one, Wesley Pipes. I worked with him. Mm-hmm. He wasn't working with big girls anymore at the point that I worked with him. You know what I'm saying? I got hired by a company from Cali. I told a friend of mine, which is another male talent, that I did my very first anal scene with. Me and him were like.
Is he big?
Like, huh?
Is he big?
Girl. Put it like this. He's good at what he does, but it's the camera. He's basic. Like, you know what I mean?
He's regular.
Size, but he's great. He's a great porn star, a great talent. And I mean that. I know people call him the shit talker. I got guys who be like, yeah, he talk too much. But your ass to sit there and listen and laugh along. He has humor in what he does, but he's very, very good. He will teach you what you don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure you learned a lot about yourself sexually too.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Actually, the first time I squirted was with him. I didn't know. I've had an ex who used to didn't never tell me that, like when I'm riding his face or something, that I'd be squirting. I didn't know. Hell, he was busy cleaning it all up, so I had no idea. I didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? And I was comfortable because that was my people. You know what I'm saying? So when I was asked to do these things with Wesley, you know, I guess they took it to him and wanted to make sure that I was what he wanted to work with. And I was a fresh face. You know what I'm saying? I was, even though I had been in the industry for like 2 years, I was still considered a fresh face. I still limit who I work with. Like a lot of the girls are just going and working with Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm very choosy. And there's been a lot of people who have asked me to work with them, and I've told them no. You know what I'm saying? I just have issues with a lot of, because it has to be beneficial for me. Right. Just because you work with Jane and Lisa and Kelly don't mean that that's what I want on my shit. Don't mean that you know what I mean? You might look good on camera with gunshot wounds and stab marks on Laura's site. But I don't want no stabbed up motherfucker on my site. Right. I feel like I do enough for that with the stretch marks and all that. You know
when I was on your page, I feel like, I was on your site because I can do my research. I feel like most of the men kind of like, you got like, they don't look alike, but they kind of like, they don't look crazy.
Yeah, I'm real picky. I'm very, very picky on who I deal with. And I know a lot of people, like, you know, there's a particular company and I love him. His name is Ken from BBW Highway. Shouts out to him. You know what I'm saying? Ken runs about 2 or 3 different companies. He's, you know, he still shoots the big girls. Then now he's into just the girls with the big booties, you know, different type of stuff, you know. And with him, he shot some stuff for me, but he's like, as far as companies, like he started telling people, this is recently is when I really realized that he knew that I took what I do seriously. And we were in Vegas and someone came in and they were doing like a marathon shoot during AVN award time. And I was staying at the house, like he rented like a mansion or whatever. So that first night that I was there, since I came in so late, he picked me up from the airport and I stayed at the house. So that following morning, I'm getting dressed so I can go do my testing while I'm out in Vegas. And someone comes in and the guy sees me and he's like, oh my God, is that her? Wait a minute. Wait, what's her name? And he told her my whatever. And then the guy was like, well, is she shooting? By this time I'm walking in the room, but I hear everything. He was like, yo, you know, she really ain't shooting, but I'm sure she will shoot, but you know, you got to pay her, right?
Because do you have certain prices for things?
Depending on for certain companies, like now the manager that I have now, because remind you that the people who did come to Buffalo with the wife and everything, they ended up being my managers. I ended up, but he didn't know anybody. He ain't know anybody. Me and him ended up in a relationship in the whole fucking nine. It went totally to the left. It went where it shouldn't have went. You know what I'm saying? And now my manager who I have now, we were friends for a long time. And I ended up telling him, like, you know, he was handling certain things because men in this industry are vultures. They take advantage of the girls. And it's the black men. I love my brothers, but a lot of the producers in this industry, especially the East Coast producers, take advantage of the girls. You know what I'm saying? They really, really do. A lot of them, you know, they're just not into helping the girls with anything. Like, I just don't think it makes any sense for you to tell a girl to come to your city or whatever to shoot. You not paying her. It's going to be content exchange.
Nah,
you know, but see, some of these girls don't even have websites, don't know how to set up clip stores, don't have anywhere to post their stuff at. And the thing these days is, because of the way the internet has taken over so much, either you're going to get paid by your company or you're going to decide to do your own website and own your material. You know what I'm saying? If you own your material, I mean, there's good and there's bad. You can get paid by this company. You only get paid one time. You got to remember that. That's it. This is not a you get paid back to back. You know, you're going to keep getting a check. And that's not how it works.
Has there ever been a scene where you didn't feel comfortable doing it and you just like, nah, I'm not doing it?
I had a scene. She's a sweet lady. I think it was one of my worst scenes. I've had 3 scenes that I feel I shouldn't have ever did. And one was, I love the lady once again. It wasn't her, it was her male talent. And I don't give, people know I don't care. I do name drop when it comes to this kind of stuff because they know how I feel. I worked for Busty Baby Dolls. Everybody loves the scene. I hate the scene. I hate the scene. And I think because before you get ready, even though you don't have time to get to know a person, this particular man that I worked with for her, I had time to get to know him for maybe a year before she ended up, you know what I'm saying, contacting me and asking me to shoot with her. I tried to get on her site for years and she kept denying me. She said I didn't have enough attributes. Whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, what do she mean by that?
I guess my ass wasn't big enough. My titties ain't on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but I have a different look. Like, a lot of the girls in the industry look alike. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like I look like any of them. You know what I'm saying? Even like we all got little pouches or whatever, you know, well, I got a big pouch, but whatever. I'm a big girl. But at that time, I was shooting back to back to back to back for a company called PYT out of New York. And his name is Purdy. So I was shooting for him nonstop, back to back to back to back, you know. And I think because they had a big BBW party going on out there for pipes, I went, and it's like at that point when I was going out there, I had like 6 people, different companies that wanted to shoot with me all at the same time. And that's when she jumped on the bandwagon and was like, I'm like, oh, now you want to work with the bitch that don't have enough attributes. So at that point, my price played in my benefit. You know what I'm saying? And but then I also knew that the BBWs fucked the game up. They did, you know, versus it before it got so bad where everything needed to be content exchange or whatever. But she was pretty good. She paid me. She kept trying to get me to do anal. And I would have done anal, but the male talent rubbed me wrong. Remind you, I had been talking to this man for a year before that. And I didn't want to go to the location that she wanted me to come to. So I said the only way that we would do the shoot is she had to come to me because I ain't too keen about getting on the trains in New York City by myself. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I was like, shit, I ain't trying to get robbed. I ain't trying to, you know, I was going through it. So and she ended up coming to my room or whatever. She had him come to the room. Do you know this motherfucker came in my room and didn't even speak to me? And maybe I'm old fashioned or something, but when he came in, I was like, hey, he didn't even speak to me. He wouldn't have, you know, he talked to her. Like literally, it's just me, him, and her in the room. He would not speak to me in no way, shape, or form. What kind of fucking bullshit is this? I felt totally disrespected. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he said that?
He didn't say, I said, what kind of bullshit is this?
Oh, right, because he was being rude.
I thought that was real rude. But I'm trying
and y'all been knowing each other for a year. Right.
I was trying to be professional about it, you know, and not go off because normally I'll cuss you the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? This is my motherfucking room. She ain't paid for this room, yet she's paying me. You know what I'm saying? She's a wonderful, you know, wonderful young lady. Beautiful woman. Beautiful. Pretty as hell. You know what I'm saying? Very easy to get along with, easy to work with. But him, there was absolutely no chemistry because of his attitude.
So you were just turned off.
I was totally turned off. Then the motherfucker came out the bathroom. I didn't know what the fuck he had on. I didn't understand it. He was not at this point, not only is you ugly inside to me, you look like a fucking idiot on the outside walking over here with all these goddamn stripes and colors and stripes going this way, colors going that way. What is going on? And I'm like, what do you got on? He said, all the girls like it. I said, on what? Not on Earth?
Oh.
So anyways, we end up doing the shoot. That is when I really came to my mind. Like, I never have any problems. I tested through talent testing all the time. But that's when I started finding out that girls in the industry truly was sucking dicks. Some of them, not going to say all of them. Some of them would be okay with giving head without a condom, but fucking with a condom on. To me, it makes no sense.
Yeah, that don't make no sense to me
thing
at
you
all.
get in your mouth, you get in your ass.
Down. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want nothing neither place.
Well, I know that you said that you get tested often. Has there ever been a time that you've been afraid of getting any STDs?
There was a guy, actually, that's not that same weekend. It was it that? Was it? No, it wasn't that same weekend when I was there. It was another weekend when in New York. And there was a fairly new talent that my people used before. He was the only one out of the whole group that I made use a condom because his test was late. And I'm not with it. If I feel any type of way and I can't find a pattern of testing, you know what I'm saying? When you go through talent testing services, your stuff stays on record. You know what I mean? I don't take chances. I'm not into, motherfuckers be like, well, can I just go to my doctor? Hell no.
Yeah.
You can do that. And I'm going to look at it, but I need you to go today.
Right.
I need it to be, if you got tested and we know a month before, well, I'm going to need you go to your doctor for that month before, while we prepare ourselves and, before we come up to that date of the time of shooting, you can have a pattern of, I would like to see a pattern of cleanliness. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes time to do this shoot, you need to be going at least those 3 days before it's time for us to do that shoot. I'm really not big on a person who been tested 30 days ago. I feel that that's a problem, and I don't feel that you're serious about your craft.
Yeah.
Because it's bad enough within 3 days. A motherfucker can fuck the world in 3 days.
Yeah, let alone 1 day. So a month ain't gonna be kidding.
But that's why when it's something from my website, I watch it. I watch your social media. You know what I'm saying? I watch the different shit, the comments that go up, the comments, the stats you put up. I watch because I need to see. What type of lifestyle you actually living. I watch your lives. I do all of that. You know what I mean? Because I want to see if you're promiscuous.
Is sex even pleasurable for you anymore, though?
Yes, it is when I'm with somebody I want to be with.
But is it hard for you to open up to somebody and let them know exactly what you like? Let them know the profession that you're in?
No, because most people already know. Most people already know. Like in my city, they're watching my movies. They already know who I am. I got a large fan. I got fans here. I don't feel like my city supports like they should. I don't feel, but as soon as a new movie come and I put it out that there's a new movie, you know what I'm saying? They're constantly, well, let me get it. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that there's a lot of my movies that are being bootlegged in my city because if it's not authentic and it didn't come from some of the places here that is actually selling it that I would, do business with in my city, anything that comes from me, I am burnt onto the CD.
Wow.
That's not the sticky tape shit that they put on the front of the CD. No, burnt on. I pay the money for me to be burnt on because I feel that it's a keepsake. You know what I'm saying? This authentic, and it's not just like my face. No, there's a body part, a titty in my mouth. My pussy, hands in my pussy. You know what I'm saying?
When I was on your website, I was like, oh, she busting it open. Like, I said, okay, sis. So I'm pretty sure there have been times that you've been out in the street and people can come up to you and be like, hey, that's so-and-so from...
Well, in my regular everyday life, this is funny as you're saying this because my graphics artist always complains about it. I am the most dressed down person when I tell you I walk 2 blocks to the Family Dollar. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on my street knows about the industry except for the new family that moved over here. But I walk to Family Dollar. I put a scarf on my head and I always look, my piercing in my eyebrow. I put the scarf on where I constantly be pulling it over because I don't want everybody to know. You know what I'm
But
saying? Like, I want to be able to walk to the store and be dressed down. But the one thing I don't want them to do is see me off guard and realize who I am and start taking pictures. You know what I'm saying? And put it on social media because I'm looking busted. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got all that makeup on. And that's the one thing that people seem to think is that we wake up like that.
You know what's so funny? Because when I'm out, like, for the most part, I'm always on. But when I'm off, like, I have to put on shades and stuff because I do not want people seeing me like that. Like, sometimes you just want to be to yourself.
Yeah.
And in the moment you say no to a picture, or like you say no to not feeling like you're not feeling well and feeling up to speak to somebody, people say you was rude, you was a bitch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. Yes,
and it's like, nah, girl, I'm
like
just tired.
Work. I mean, I got on jogging pants, t-shirt. Look, if fuck a push-up bra, because these puppies ain't sitting up saying hello. Not without a push-up bra. You know, so I wear a sports bra at work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm kind of hold these motherfuckers down so they don't get in the way. You know, and it was crazy because there was a deaf guy that actually knew who I was.
Child.
They started discussing it, and I had a guy at my job that I was, listen, I ain't gonna lie, I'm very attracted to him. Very attracted to him. You know what I'm saying? And every time he touches me, it's just like, ooh, I get that, you know, that little feeling.
That feeling.
Yeah. So when he, like, one day him grabbing my arm or some shit and trying to talk to me, and I was like, ooh, and like, I'll say little things. I'm like, oh, I need a fucking massage. My back hurting so bad. He like, I can massage you. And then he make little, you know, stop, don't play with me, boy, because I'll fuck around and take it. Okay? You don't know. He knows too. The deaf boy did a little sign language one day, and I noticed.
Girl, I can't do this with you.
Yo, the black dude, he knew about who I was also. Me and him had discussed it. He knew, you know, but I know he hadn't told anyone. The deaf boy said something to him about it. And the black dude, he had just turned. He was like, oh. And I'm like, talk about what? He said he knows who you are. And I'm like, oh, the fuck, here we go. So here I go. I'm coming, you know what I'm saying, down the hall. And I just reached down and shook his hand. Yes, it's me. I just nodded up and down, yup, and shook his head. And then he put his hands up as to say, zip, his mouth is closed. He'll never say nothing about it.
Child. Wait, so do your kids know?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Our kids support. I took in my youngest with me to a convention a couple years ago. She was 18 when she was 18. I took her to a convention because she does hair and does makeup. And it's easier when I got someone with me because I do so much. I have really came to a realization like I need an intern. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I need help. It's hard when you got shoots. I got appearances. And then I got to be at the convention and appear there too.
Right.
In these heels. Then I got to rush back to the room, change clothes, take a shower, trying to look through my suitcase figure out what outfit I want to wear. I got 15. When I say I take everything, including the kitchen sink and the tub and the shower head too. I have one suitcase all the time with nothing but shoes.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the difference from me and a lot of the other girls. I like my wardrobe is so very important. My shoe game is on fucking point. I like shoes and things that nobody else is wearing. Most of the girls wear the same thing. You know, the stretchy outfit that you get for $12 or $15 out the hair store. You know, with the holes and the fishnet holes or whatever. You know what I mean? I like things that stand out. That's going to make you look double take. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like to look different. You know, so my shoe game and my outfit is very important. You know, like I said, everyone looks alike. And I don't want to be looking nor act just like anyone else. I am me. And I'm different. You know, some people could say, you know, like the shoes, they'd be like, how are you walking in those? One foot in front of the other, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You know, I get a lot of compliments on the clothing and the shoes and different stuff like that. You know, a lot of big girls can't stand in what I call whole heels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They are wearing the fat heels, which ain't nothing wrong with the fat heels, but what works for my body is what I wear.
Right.
You know? And I don't feel
And that's how people know you.
Yeah, that's how I've made my image. Talking about my clothing and stuff, I went to Texas and a radio show wanted me to come in. And before I didn't even know they asked me for an interview when I got to Texas to come into the studio and they would do the interview. But the day before I left, they called me talking about they all want to know what I'm wearing, what I'm going to be bringing, what type of shoes. That's what brought me to light that these people really like my style.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just different. I do things differently.
What's next after porn?
Well,
for you
now, I am in the process of getting ready to start trying to write a book. I've spoke to, a few people, and one person, the price he told me, because my life, I mean, I'm not no 18-year-old, 17-year-old, you know what I'm saying? So I've had so much happen to me in my life. When I say a lot, from being molested to being raped, abuse, you know what I'm saying, by the kids' fathers, you know what I'm saying? Drugs. I've done it. I've been through it. I did take time. I mean, I've had so much. So it's like I'm writing it down. I'll go crazy trying to do this. So what someone told me to do after speaking to this company about me writing the book and stuff, they told me to just verbally record it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just record, and then they'll go through and listen to the tapes. That's a lot of damn tapes.
Well, listen, I'd rather you pay them than you be sitting there writing, typing all day.
I could never do that. So that ends. I'm also getting ready to release. I have the promos for my eyelashes and stuff. So I got that. I've chosen the boxes that I want to use. I'm saying because I've already been branded. I'm already on a Rated X energy drink. I am a face of an energy drink. My whole body is on an energy drink can.
Nice.
You will see that on the website too. You know what I mean? The picture that's actually, you know what I mean? The logo and all that Rated X, that's on the website because
I think I saw that.
Yeah. Because I am on their can, like literally on there, so, and it's crazy that I'm going to be talking about that because the same person who owns that can in that company is actually running for an office in New York City.
Wow.
So, like everyone had a past, and you know what I'm saying? But you can't let your future define you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever you did in your past,
Do you think that the things that happened to you as, well, I don't know the age, but being molested and raped and abused, you think that had a lot to do with you being a porn star?
I think with me knowing how to do certain things, it's because you had to be taught, right? And I see the person regular who molested me.
Really?
And I'm really not, like I told you before we decided to do this, when you contacted me, like there is no shame in my game. And I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but that will be part of some chapter of my book, my sister's father. You know what I'm saying? And I love my mother, you know what I'm saying? And I was raised by, between my mother and my grandmother. But at the end of the day, I feel like my mother knew.
And how's your relationship with her now?
It's not good at all. It's
right.
Good. Like my mother lives in Virginia, and she sends me, cards, sends my kids cards, you know what I'm saying? She talks to the kids whenever she wants, whatever, But as far as me and her, I can't. I just can't, when you tell your child things like, you just try to take my man, and I'm 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I've told you what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And, I wasn't the first one to tell her. My sister's godmother told her, and I ran away, ended up getting picked up and was, placed in a facility, and my mother came to see me, and I refused to leave with them because I knew what I was going back to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I refuse to leave. She comes in with the very motherfucker that's doing this to me, and I tell her about it, and she's in the facility telling me that I'm just trying to break them up and I'm trying to take her man, and I'm telling you that, I'm 12 years old.
Yeah, and that definitely had to play a part, because if you're telling somebody that something's going on with you that's being done by it being done by somebody that she has a relationship with. Like,
And
and
continue
I'm
that
12 years
relationship.
old.
I
Yeah.
continue that relationship. Literally, you know how like if you have a closet in your room, you know, that's how close our bedrooms was. Me and my mother. You can't tell me on a daily basis that you didn't know.
Yeah.
And I'm being threatened with, you know, like if I'm sneaking out the house, my mother at work, and I'm going to see a little boy or whatever, and he's coming by the house when she's gone, and him telling me, well, if you don't do this, I'm gonna tell that you did this. You was going to see that boy, and you was going to, you know, whatever.
And you're 12 years old,
I'm
so
12 years old.
you're scared.
Yeah, so I'm going along with it.
Right.
You know, but me knowing it's wrong, but nobody listening to me, but this is my only way. You know what I'm saying? Because like my mother, you know, I don't want to be put out on the street.
Right.
At 12 years old, like what am I supposed to do? And so when I ran away, like the last time, that was like it. It was like it. I just refused to come home. So I've been raising myself literally, you know what I'm saying? To be honest, I've been raising myself, even though I lived in a house with my mother or whatever. I've been pretty much
you
on
became
my
a
own
woman.
since 10 years old. I've been pretty much on my own since I was 10 years old. I've been taking care of somebody's kids, my sisters, all my brothers, you know, my father's kids, all of that, since I was 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you thinking you're going to be put outside and shit, you don't got no choice. You know what I mean? You got to do what you have to do, you know, and that was at 12. And, you know, I feel like I perfected the craft because I was taught it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I had to.
Do you ever think about if these wouldn't happen to you, that you probably would have went down a different path?
You know what? I do. Like, I started picking older men. Yeah.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter's father is 7.5 years older than me. And I feel to this day he's a fucking pedophile. I feel like he is too. Because he was 7.5 years older than me. He was holding my hand at 7 years old. I was put in positions I feel that a child should never have been put in. I'd kill a rock. I was very protective of my girls. You know what I'm saying? Especially my youngest two. My oldest is, you know, much older. You know what I mean? But my youngest two, I didn't have boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like at 5, 12, 26, 27 years old, I ain't have niggas up in my motherfucking house. Listen, I didn't even, when my brothers would be here along with my kids, or be not here but my other houses along with my kids, I questioned it. Because I was molested by the very person that I loved to death. The very person who defended me when my mother was getting ready to whoop me. Or, you know what I'm saying? Right. The very person that I trusted more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And the very person who fucked the shit out of a little girl.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, I do believe that when I finally left home, you know, with my oldest daughter's father, I do believe that had I not been chasing behind to me, it was looking for love in all the wrong places. Had I not been chasing behind him, I would have stayed in school and did what I needed to do. I was on an honor roll. You know what I'm saying? I was doing great. I had a few fuck ups. Like taking cans of beer to school and drinking it in the lunchroom.
Getting lit.
Doing stupid shit, getting suspended for dumb shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't even ask what made my ass do something stupid. But when I sit back and think of some of the shit I did, I still think it was reaching out.
Yeah.
I needed help. You know what I'm saying?
Like you were just trying to articulate the best way you knew how.
Yeah, I needed help, you know, and I didn't have nobody to help me or to tell me nothing. Like literally a kid raising herself. You know what I mean?
Do you have any regrets?
You know what? I love all my kids, but I don't wish kids. I could never do it again. You know, my oldest daughter's father, I truly regret him because I feel like had I not been looking for love in all the wrong places, but who's to say if it wasn't him, it wasn't going to be someone else. But I do think that he took a lot of self-esteem from me. I feel like when he manipulated me, I was still a kid. You know what I'm saying? I felt like he was taking care of me, but then the abuse You know what I'm saying? I did what I learned, what I was taught, like the abuse, seeing abuse and being abused. And like this motherfucker really did things to me that, nobody should ever. Hell, the first car I ever bought was for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was because I thought this motherfucker loved me. I thought when a motherfucker beat your ass, that was what you're supposed to, you know what I mean? You're supposed to stay because my mother did it.
Right.
I feel like I broke the cycle because out of every woman on my mother's side of family, they stayed down to my grandmother. They stayed.
So that's all you knew.
That's all I knew was to get your ass beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting beat down at home. I'm getting beat down, you know what I'm saying, by the man that I think I love. You know what I mean? All of that. Yeah, granted, he took me in, but hell, I wouldn't have got put out if I wasn't creeping off with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like it's a cycle.
It is a cycle.
What I'm saying? It's a cycle, and this is why as far as my kids, I didn't really have men living in my household. When my oldest daughter left home and she was out the house, I finally started dating again, and I was so scared. I was terrified because I still had to work. I had money put up, but I still kept on working. Right. But I was still scared to leave my kids with that motherfucker.
Right.
So it was a constant every day, constant asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Did he touch you? Did anybody, I would do things to my kids like,
and it's also one of those things that you was asking because you wanted somebody to ask you that.
Yeah, nobody reached out. It wasn't really, I just was protective. And I had to make choice like, damn, can I go to work? Or do I,
right.
I don't, not to blame him for what was done to me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't trust nobody with no kids. Like,
yeah, I don't either.
Listen, in church, everyone is not holy.
Yeah.
Everyone is not it's not safe to leave your kids around. But it was like, okay, he's living in my house. I take care of his daughter and my own kids, but I got to go to work.
That is true.
So it's choices you have to make. And I was grateful. I'm grateful that God blessed my kids enough to know, to be able to, they can come to mommy and tell mommy. I used to always tell them, you don't never got to be scared. Motherfucker talking about they gonna kill me. Shit, I got a double barrel sawed off for each and every one. What's up? 20 bullets. To this day, I double barrel sawed off. You know what I'm saying? It's in my house with me now. I sleep with that bitch. That's my man.
And on that note,
that's my man.
If y'all have any questions, any concerns, any comments, you want to get to know my guest more, this has been literally one of my favorite episodes, please email me at hello@theprofessionalhomegirl.com. And until next time, guys, later.
The Professional Homegirl Podcast is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. And you can connect with me on social media at the PhD Podcast.